yeah, Salvador, man. Talk about Salvador. Salvador Bahia.
I felt like it was only right. We was already down there to go to Salvador, which is basically the first known. They say the first city of Brazil, which is full of Afro Brazilians. Um, that place it's not like Rio. It's not the heartbeat, but it's the mind of Brazil.
A lot of black people there.
A lot of black people there.
Because it used to have the main port in which they used to brought the slaves in.
Over, yeah, the African slaves over. Yeah, so a lot of Afro Brazilians there. It's more cultural centric, the culture there.
It's not much to see or do there really.
We went to Salvador. We didn't go through.
We didn't go through all of Bahia.
And we only got a week.
Yeah.
We did Rio 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he said,
we went to a soccer game. T went to a soccer game in Rio.
Yeah.
He said that was the livest thing he ever did in his life.
I mean, yeah, I guess going back on the culture. I mean, I know like soccer or football that is known outside of the U.S. I mean, it's a pretty big thing overall, but just like going there and seeing the energy of all the fans, like, regardless of what happens, if somebody scores or it misses, I'm like, wow, this is intense. I mean, not even like fans of the NFL or the NBA or whatever get that live. I mean, it's really important in their lives, and that was pretty amazing.
Passion.
Passionate.
All that
Get clocked in the head
with a rock.
He talk shit. Yeah. He said soccer game was amazing.
All right. So one beautiful thing about Salvador Bahia is that, like I mentioned, that it was a port which they used to bring the slaves in, and I don't know, for whatever reason, slavery went down a whole lot differently in Brazil than it did in the United States, because Africa, I didn't realize it till I looked at a map, but the tip of Salvador and the bottom country or tip of like West Africa is like very close. Like I think it's like a 5-hour flight from Salvador to the first country in Africa. So
we debated now.
Huh?
We debated.
What you mean?
Yo, should we just go to Africa real quick?
Yeah. So of course it was a lot easier for them to bring slaves to Brazil, so they made it more cheaper and disposable. But within Brazil, they have a very strong African culture. Even in places like São Paulo, you could feel it, you could see it. And one thing is that a lot of them Brazilians held on to the African religions, and we actually got to go to a African spiritual gathering.
Yeah.
Man, talk about that, man.
It was definitely different than anything I've ever experienced going through church, being Christian and everything. Just how I say it, I don't know. It's just the aura in there. I felt like I don't know.
You can't. Words can't describe.
Yeah. I can't explain the words. Of course, I didn't know completely what they're saying, but just the chanting they were doing and everything felt alive. They closed the door behind them to keep everything, the spirituality that they were bringing inside that building.
I was surprised that they had like an open door that anybody could walk in. Those few Europeans, they walked in, they tried to take some pictures, and they were like, no. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah. That was dope, and like I said, and someone still keep the they say still keep the language.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely dope to know a place that still still held on to their African roots.
Yeah, it just and there's a lake, a tiny lake in the center of Salvador, and it had those gods. I didn't know what they were until until a Brazilian friend of mine explained to me exactly what those were, and they were actually African deities, which was like the main religion, I think, in Salvador. And we went to that museum to learn about them. We even saw the evolution of the pick for your hair. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was dope. In the museum, that was dope.
Even seeing capoeira, which is a dance that came from slaves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fighting jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
type dance.
they want to learn how to fight, but they weren't allowed to learn. So
Yeah.
they did it into a dancing style.
Disguise it, but
Yeah,
it was
disguise
really a
it.
form of combat.
Yes, yes, sir.
Beautiful dance. If I ever went back to Brazil, I had to stay a little bit longer in Bahia, for sure. And then also, this is the
100%.
same location that Michael Jackson did. They Don't Really Care About Us.
Video.
I forgot the name of the company, the drum company that's there in Salvador. But that was pretty amazing. But overall, man, like, what's one thing? It's hard. I mean, like I said, we could do a whole interview on Brazil. But what's one thing that if you're going to Brazil, you have to really go do within our means of what we saw? Because Brazil is huge.
Yeah, Brazil
We
is
could have probably did the whole entire trip in Brazil
In Brazil.
alone. So those tickets and bus rides are expensive, and most of the time you're going to opt to do a plane ride because from like what, Sao Paulo to Salvador, or from Rio to Salvador was what,
We went
22 hours?
Yeah,
Bus
so we
ride?
Did, we did Sao Paulo. Oh yeah, 22. Yeah, it was or more. So that's why we broke it up. What would you say? I would say Rio for sure. Just the city of Rio. It has a lot of stuff. Speaking on music videos, they did the Snoop Dogg and Pharrell beautiful video in Rio. The whole video. So if you remember that video, you go back, that mansion that they made into a museum.
Yeah, and then also the steps, those colorful steps.
Yeah, the colorful steps, which I don't remember the name either. Sorry. Yeah, they did the music video right there, and it's so much culture in Brazil that has references to the U.S., the hip hop culture that we had.
I mean, you also mentioned